that time again for story time. But before I begin our story time, I want you to know we are getting ready to open the library up. Write this on your calendar on May 18th. But there will be some changes. So I want you to look at the library website. Miss Jolene is going to put some things out to tell you what is expected of you if you have to come to the library. And as you know, we're all wearing masks and social distancing, but it will be explained on the information that will come out to you shortly. All right? So, and don't forget about summer reading program. We have all the things that we're going to do for summer reading program, and our sheets, they will be available for you, but we will tell you in the email and on the website how you can get them from our library here at Fort McDowell Tribal Library. So, with that being said, let's sing our hello song. We clap and sing hello. We clap and sing hello with all our friends here at Story Time. We clap and sing hello. Let's sing. We clap and sing hello. We clap and sing hello. With all our friends at Story Time, we clap and sing hello. Let's do it together. We clap and sing hello. We clap and sing hello. With all our friends at Story Time, we clap and sing hello. Now with the music, we clap and sing hello. We clap and sing hello. With all our friends at Story Time, we clap and sing hello. Good job. Well, I missed you guys on Wednesday. And because I wasn't with you on Wednesday, I have two stories for us today. Well, we're going to start off our first story. It says, No, David. No, David. Well, and this is a Caldecott honor book. And you see the gold seal. It was a Caldecott. It has the gold seal, but this is an honor book. It has the silver seal here. Well, and it's a good book. Here it says, No, David. And the story is by David Shannon. David's mom always said, No, David. No, David, as he was climbing to get cookies. No, David, no. Look at David. Came in the house with mud on his feet, and she says, No, David, no. And look at David now is in the bathtub with all of his animals. There's the duck. Gee whiz, there's a whale, and he's a pirate. And his mother says, No, no, no. Because look at the water spilling over the tub in the bathroom. No, David. Come back here, David. Look at David. David ran away. Come back, David. David, David. Boom, 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 boom. Be quiet, David. Boom, 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 boom. Don't play with your food. David is eating and he's playing with his food. No, David. That's enough. That's enough, David. Look what he did with all this food. In his mouth, there's his carrots, potatoes. There is his broccoli. No, that's enough. Go to your room. Just go, David, to your room. his room. Oh, hey, look at David. He won't settle down in his room. My goodness, he looks like Batman, Robin. Look at his boots. Look at his bed. Settle down, his mom said. David, settle down. Oh, stop that this instant. Oh my goodness, look at that room. Put your toys away. Not in the house, David. We can't play baseball. Baseball in the house? No, David. I said no, David. Looked like he's in a corner because it looked like he broke his mom's plant. David, 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 come here. She's calling him. Is this for love? Yes, David. I know you do awful things, but I still love you. And this is the story of No David. And it won a Caldecott honor for one of the best stories. The title is No David. Well, because we needed 2 stories today, because I wasn't here on Wednesday, I thought I would pull out a familiar story, one of our familiar characters that we all know about, Curious George. We all know who Curious George is. Well, let's listen to this one. Curious George goes camping. George and his friends, the man with the yellow hat, were going on a camping trip. A ranger greeted them at the entrance of the park. Have a great time, he told them. They drove to the lake. Here's a good spot to set up our camp, George, and said the man with the yellow hat. Let's get unpacked, he told George. I got to get some water to cook with. You can look all around, George, but don't get into any trouble. George went exploring. At one campsite, George saw a man cooking some fish for his family. That smells good. At another campsite, a girl was pouring water over the campfire. I want to make sure it is completely out, she told George. One spark could start a whole forest fire, and we don't want that. George walked on until he saw a small tent. Inside was a tiny pole standing right in the middle. Suddenly, George heard footsteps. Someone is coming. He jumped into the tent and knocked over the pole. Look, and the tent fell. Who's in there? The man shouted. Come out right now. And the man was angry. George crawled out and he ran away. The man was running after him. George climbed to the top of a tall tree. Now he was safe. From the tree, he could see the man in the yellow hat returning to the campsite with a bucket of water. Then George saw something scary. Smoke coming from an empty campsite. Fire! Fire! George had to stop the fire, and he knew just what to do. He climbed down and he ran to get the bucket of water from his own campsite. George grabbed the bucket and ran past the other campers where the monkey, where is that guy going? Daddy, I see smoke, yelled the little girl. The man with the yellow hat came rushing out of his tent. Fire, he yelled. Quick, let's go. Everyone ran after George. George dumped his bucket on the fire. Everybody helped pour water on the fire until it was out. The ranger came to see what had happened. So did the man whose tent had fallen down. Remember, he was the one, the George tent, he went in and George knocked his tent down and the man went after him. Good job, George, he said. Sorry, I was angry at you. You're a real fine scout, said the ranger. Hooray, hooray for George. Everyone shouted, hooray, George saved us. George and the man with the yellow hat went back to their campsite to have dinner. George said to the man with the yellow hat, you did all right today. And that's Curious George Goes Camping. And that's one of the stories about Curious George. And we know there are other books about Curious George because he's always curious and he's always doing all kinds of things. Well, I think we're about at the end of our story time, but I just want to make sure for our announcements, remember the library is opening on May 18th, but there will be some things in place that we haven't normally done before. So look on the library's website and pay attention for all the rules that we have to follow to use the library. Well, boys and girls, it's time to wave goodbye. Can we do that? Wave. It's time to wave goodbye. It's time to wave goodbye. With all our friends at story time, it's time to wave goodbye. One more time. It's time to wave goodbye. It's time to wave goodbye. With all our friends at story time, it's time to wave goodbye. Well, listen to my music that I love.